Oh, sweet God. Zilla. You guys thought ranking 42 Scooby-Doo films in one video was a video. Nah! This is a video. That is too much Godzilla. Doesn't matter who you are. I think after watching about the third film, I thought, wow, that's too much Godzilla. After watching 37, overkill doesn't even mean anything to me anymore. It's not even a word in my vocabulary. Now, I know, 42 Scooby-Doo films, 37 Godzilla films, should be a piece of cake compared to that. But while there are some truly insane Scooby-Doo films out there, it's the Godzilla franchise that leaves me with some real spleen to do. You know, we're talking Godzilla making his son blow atomic breath rings, Godzilla flying, time travel, aliens, Seatopians, King Kong making Godzilla deep throat a tree, Godzilla talking, kind of, and literally, and I mean literally, everything about Shin Godzilla. He survived black holes, giant alien creatures, weird foreign prophecies. He's died a lot of times as well, mind you. But, basically, what I'm trying to say is, either you're about to come all the way down the Hollow Earth rabbit hole with me, or leave the video, because this has been a year in the making, because you really shouldn't watch more than one of these a week for your mental health. Today, we rank Godzilla.
It's alive! A gigantic beast, stalking the earth, crushing all before it in a cyclonic cavalcade of electrifying horror, raging through the streets on a rampage of total destruction.
1954, Tokyo. American nuclear weapon testing results in the creation of a big lizard boy. He's a very big lizard boy. He's a hand puppet? Get that thing out of here, damn it! Going on a rampage through Tokyo, getting attacked by tanks while some funky music plays. Seriously funky music. All the while, a salvage ship captain and the woman he loves try to convince a scientist to use his devastating new creation, an oxygen destroyer weapon, to end the creature once and for all. Here is my 1 minute review for Gojira. This is a true foreign classic. Before we, really go other places with this franchise, this originally used allegory better than any other film maybe ever, certainly any other monster film ever. Godzilla being the result of the creation of this unrivaled deadly weapon, and now the humans having to decide, the scientist Serizawa having to decide whether he's willing to use the even deadlier unrivaled weapon that he's created to destroy this one, not knowing what effects this could have. It's so good. It's so well done. And yes, obviously, it's 1954, and it's Japan, which was, you could say, at least 10 years behind Hollywood in terms of special effects at the stage. So there were times where it was a hand puppet, a guy in a suit, and it ages poorly in some ways. But the actual story, the actual warning, that doesn't. That's fantastic all the time. So I'm giving That's Not a Bomb, This Is a Bomb, 79 out of 100. I already used that joke at the beginning of the video. It doesn't matter, it's fine.
Here's motion picture adventure and excitement to stagger the imagination. The fantastic fire monsters raging out of the flaming bowels of hell.
1955, Osaka. Yeah, you know what? He gets a rep for screwing over Tokyo, but he does visit other Japanese cities, guys. Anyway, another Godzilla appears. What? Oh, they killed him in the first film, and they immediately wanted a sequel a year later, so they just brought him back. We wouldn't do that today, Superman. So they just kind of said there was always this other one, and now there's also his ancient enemy, Anguirus. But he's obviously the ancient enemy of the whole Godzilla race, because that's a thing, apparently. No, yeah. And now they're coming towards the city, so the government turn off all the lights and pretend that nobody's home. Seriously, yeah. Here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla Raids Again. I mean, I was surprised that Godzilla just totally dismantled Anguirus halfway through the film and then just kind of rampages around again till they bury him in an avalanche at the end. I expected it to be this climactic battle, so that shock value of him just wrecking Anguirus, showing that he is truly this alpha monster. There's not even a second fight about it, just first time around. That was badass. But the general film is quite a letdown. If there had been a climactic battle between them at the end, you feel like it would have been better. Trying to bury them both in an avalanche or something, Godzilla beats him and then gets buried. I don't know. It was just kind of him rampaging around again, but everything was worse this time. There was no excellent allegory going on. There was no good human characters, really. So, yeah, I mean, the one-off human characters practically all the way throughout this franchise are a various source of issues, but for now, this one, it was alright. It wasn't truly garbage, terrible times, we'll get there, but it was not great, certainly. From here, the show era will just get crazier and crazier and crazier, but for now I'm giving Angier Squish 49 out of 100.
You may wish to deny it, but your eyes tell you it's true. A tale to stun the mind. More fantastic than any ever written by Jules Verne. More terrifying than any ever shown on the screen.
1956, Tokyo. Ugh. Here's the thing. Godzilla King of the Monsters shouldn't count as a film. Not that one. I'm talking about that time in 1956, when bloody America wanted to release the 1954 Gojira film, but decided to try and heavily re-edit it and bring in Raymond Burr as a new American reporter working in Japan during it. They just add in a bunch of scenes to try and make it look like he was in the original film, and then they dub over the scenes he isn't in. It's not a film. It's a YouTube video of somebody jokingly inserting themselves into a real film. But it was released widely and separately years later, so I guess here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla King of the Monsters. But no, it doesn't deserve a review. The stuff they added in made this feel like the Joss Whedon Justice League of Godzilla films. It's a Frankenstein. It feels ludicrous to watch back. And I'm horrified that America just couldn't handle the idea of just dubbing over and releasing a foreign language film. I mean, it was the 50s. They didn't even... Yeah, they had problems, but it feels ridiculous. It does ruin it, but you can't say it's like a truly, truly horrific film because it does have all the good stuff from the first film still in there somewhat. Yeah, I'm giving copyright infringement 40 out of 100. Still, you know, it does have a lot of that good stuff, but it really dilutes and fucks up everything, and I hate it. I hate it.
King Kong versus Godzilla, heading for their colossal collision, shattering every obstacle that stands between them in the most fantastic rampage of annihilation ever recorded on film.
1962, Mont Fuji. Oh, King Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah, it came after King of the Monsters then and now. Initially, the idea was King Kong versus Frankenstein, but instead, this titanic, famous battle occurred. King Kong kills this big octopus thing on Faroe Island, not Faroe Islands, Faroe Island, where he lives, apparently, and then falls asleep and humans bring him on a boat to the mainland. Sound familiar? Yeah. Meanwhile, Godzilla breaks out of the ice. Yes, that is one of the few times they actually have some form of continuity between films, and after some initial clashes, the two head towards Mount Fuji for a climactic battle. Here is my 1 minute review for King Kong versus Godzilla. Good stuff. Enjoyable climactic battle for sure. Kong deep-throating Godzilla with a tree is one of the bigger power play maneuvers I've seen in a kaiju film, but there's also... There's other things about this that you question, for sure. There's a really long sequence where they're just throwing rocks at each other. That's amusing in its own way, but it doesn't necessarily make this feel like any kind of masterpiece of filmmaking. That doesn't entirely matter, though. And despite Kong winning because he got supercharged by electricity, I don't understand. That should have been Frankenstein's plot point, so they should have done that to Godzilla, right? Because they replaced Frankenstein with Godzilla. Was he always going to beat Frankenstein by getting supercharged with electricity? Wouldn't Frankenstein also just be powered up by that? It doesn't matter. Of course, none of these really try to be anything like that after the first one, so it's one of those times where despite Kong winning by getting supercharged with electricity, you just have to go, okay, Toko, I'll allow these shenanigans. Go ahead, do your thing. So I'm giving Electric Ape versus Reptile Man 57 out of 100. That doesn't seem like a high score, but trust me, it is for this franchise. (1964) Nagoya. See? Variety. This film was initially conceptualized as Godzilla vs. Frankenstein. Why the fuck do they keep cancelling Frankenstein films? What's up with him? So a giant egg is discovered on Infant Island and some business boys take it to exploit it. Some weird twin fairies turn up and tell them the egg belongs to Mothra, a big weird god creature they pray to on an island. Godzilla emerges again, and so the random human male lead character, he goes to Infant Island to ask Mothra to come fight Godzilla for them. They say no, but shocking surprise, I can't believe it, they changed their minds. So here is my 1 minute review for Mothra vs. Godzilla. They may be fun friends later, but make no mistake, Godzilla at this point in the franchise is still a bad dude, and he just wants to bloody smash this fucking butterfly, okay? He does. He wrecks it. It's absolutely dead. But then 2 more new Mothra caterpillars hatch from the egg, and they just do the equivalent of beating Godzilla with a string shot attack for Pokemon, which should not work. It's pretty dumb, but the human characters aren't offensively bad. It's alright. It's enjoyable enough. The battles are okay. There are weird twin fairy things that summon Mothra by singing, though. Yeah, they appear a lot. Yeah. So I'm giving Don't Fight a Charizard with a Butterfree 50 out of 100. Not on the level of Kong against him, but it's still pretty enjoyable comparative to what's coming.
Created from an atomic fireball hurled from outer space, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, threatens man's very existence on Earth.
1964. Venus. Oh no. Okay, firstly, they managed to bring two of these things out in the same year. That's actually pretty impressive, and an indictment of how well King Kong vs. Godzilla did, because they then immediately went into planning for two more. Secondly, what the damn hell? An alien possesses the body of a princess. Alien ghosts, no problem, okay. And then becomes a prophet, first predicting that giant birdie fucker Rodan will rise from Mount Aso, correct? And then that a giant monster called King Ghidorah, which destroyed Venus, will come to Earth, which it does, inside of a meteor somehow. From there, our friendly neighborhood one-off human characters are forced to go to Infinite Island, begging the fairy things to send Mothra. Yet, despite two of them hatching last film, there's only one of them again. It might have eaten the other one, there's no proof, it doesn't matter. They can only hope that Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla will team up and work together in order to destroy King Ghidorah. So obviously that's what eventually does happen. Here is my 1 minute review for Gadora, the three-headed monster. There are several amusing things about this. Not only is it the first time that Godzilla is officially Team Good Guy, not only is it probably the only time that Rodan was ever Team Good Guy, yeah. And not only is it the introduction of Gadora complete with blah, 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 sound effects, that's actually what he sounds like in this while he's firing lightning, it's not, yeah. But also, it's the first time that Mothra had to be just the mother to the other monsters, just going, fine, I'll do it myself when they refuse to team up. And then when she gets beaten up by Gadora, they have to go, oh shit, so go help out so they don't look like dicks. That's basically the whole plot of this film. There's also the Venus Princess Alien Prophet. So what I'm saying is this is some garbage ass shit. I'm giving 3 monsters to fight 3 heads, 44 out of 100. It's getting quite bad now, but it gets way worse.
No, it isn't!
1965, Planet X. 2 Earth astronauts arrive and find King Ghidorah attacking this mysterious planet. The inhabitants, called Zillions, want to borrow Godzilla and Rodan to fight Gadora on their planet in exchange for the cure to cancer. Then they just kind of go to Earth, put Godzilla and Rodan in bubbles, and take them away. They later reveal themselves to be evil and demand the Earth be surrendered to them, otherwise they will destroy the planet with Gadora, Godzilla, and Rodan, who are all under their mind control. Oh no. Our one-off human characters will fall in love with alien spies and find a way to disrupt the mind control. Yep, that's the plot. Here's my one review for Invasion of Astro Monster. Oh no, it's bad, very bad, so bad. This is the film where Godzilla does the dance. The dance, you know the dance? That dance. The dance? That one. Yeah, it's, I mean, they're invading Earth, stealing their monsters in big bubbles, and mind controlling them. What can you say about a film that's willing to take itself quite seriously while being that insane? I'm giving the Japanese got super high in the 60s too, 29 out of 100. It's one of the real low points, but certainly not the lowest.
See the most titanic battle ever screened when the monster of the deep challenges the mighty Godzilla.
1966, Lecce Island. A man searching for his brother, his 2 friends, and a bank robber wash up on an island where a terrorist organization named the Red Bamboo is manufacturing heavy water, as well as a strange yellow substance that allows them to control Ebera, a giant lobster. Oh no. The Red Bamboo has stolen people from Infinite Island in order to create the yellow liquid, but Mothra hasn't turned up to save them. Yet. Our one-off heroes randomly find Godzilla having a fucking nap at a cave on the same island and wake up with a lightning rod so he can tear the lobster's claws off and then turn heel and have another go at Mothra, who chases him off. What the fuck? Here is my 1 minute review for Ebera, Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Almost all of these films have multiple names. I haven't been mentioning that. I remember seeing this one years and years ago. It was one of the very first ones I saw. Certainly, I think it was the first old Toho one I saw. And the one takeaway I had was the heroes are running about this island trying to avoid being seen by the terrorists, but never once take off the bright yellow coats they're wearing. And that's pretty much the level this whole film's on. It's not good. It could never manage to be as ridiculous as Astro Monster with that simple a plot, but it was vastly more underwhelming, just. Nobody thinks a lobster could beat Godzilla. Just no one. So I'm giving Easy Sushi 32 out of 100.
The mightiest monster the world has ever known. The mightiest egg the world has ever known. Introducing the son of Godzilla.
1967. I don't even know if they named this island. There's this egg. And a baby Godzilla called Manila comes out of it. And Godzilla just teaches him to blow atomic breath. And they fight some giant praying mantises and a big spider. While humans on the island work to perfect a weather controlling system. Okay, here's my moment of review for Son of Godzilla. Oh, that's a bad one. It isn't so bad that they turned the Godzilla franchise into a tragically bad father-son comedy kaiju film. Actually, now that I say it out loud, it's exactly that. That's what I dislike about this. Yep, it's exactly that fact. Most of the monsters in this are just random one-offs. Kumonga, Kamakuras. Do you know these monsters? No, nobody does. They're stupid. They're shit. They don't really put up that much of a fight in the film itself. The only danger is that Godzilla has to go and fight the spider because the baby Godzilla gets trapped by it. And it's bad. It's all bad. And the humans are like able to communicate with baby Godzilla, and it's the most annoying little rat-faced fucking thing in the world. And I mean, there's this point where the weather experiments were suffering interference because of Manila's telepathic cries for help, which is the only thing he can really do. Scores are getting real low, big guy. I'm giving One Ashamed Father 22 out of 100.
I would say nobody has anything to fear from us. But we are going to control you now.
1968, Monster Island. A team of scientists that have kept all of the world's monsters contained on this mysterious island, don't ask how the hell they managed it, are suddenly being mind-controlled by a race of feminine aliens called the Killax, who dispatch the monsters to destroy capital cities across the world while they build an underground base near Mont Fuji. The other monsters manage to turn eventually on them and face down King Gadora and later a new creature created by the Killax called Fire Dragon, which is just a UFO that's on fire. Here's my moment of review for Destroy All Monsters. Hear me out. This is one of the better ones. Sounds ridiculous, right? But you've got all the monsters attacking these cities. You've got them all turning then and facing down King Gadora. And they actually kill that fucker off this time. And then you've got Godzilla and the Fire Dragon thing. And there's just a lot to this one that is separate enough from the crazy human side of the story. And the monsters do have more screen time compared with a lot of the previous films, which really helps. You're able to accept the shenanigans more when there's actually some level of good stuff in it. Yeah. You do just feel like you can sit back, enjoy the fights, and wonder who the hell Gorosaurus and Manda are, because they've been in previous films, but never a Godzilla one. They just turned up. Anyway, I'm giving another monster mind control film 52 out of 100. Higher than the next one. That's all you can say.
Where would you like to go?
Monster Island. Godzilla is there. Nina.
1969, Kawasaki. Let me try and explain All Monsters Attack, or Godzilla's Revenge. There's this little boy, he's very lonely and he's getting bullied at school, and he escapes his mundane life but can't escape the horrors of this film by falling asleep and dreaming about visiting Monster Island. When he's there, he is inserted into action sequences from previous Godzilla films. So no new action sequences with the monsters were filmed for this. He's just inserted Raymond Burr style into scenes where the monsters are fighting, lifted verbatim from previous films. So that happens. And the rest of this film is just about the kid being awake in a world where there are no monsters and fighting bullies and a couple of thieves whom he thwarts Home Alone style, kind of, but way worse. And I didn't like Home Alone that much. Here is my 1 minute review for All Monsters Attack. It's not a Godzilla film. It's not even a film, really. It should be struck from the record and lost forever. Any parts worth watching, even vaguely, are literally just copied and pasted from previous films. So there's no need to watch this one at all, even if you're a massive Godzilla fan. No. It's about a depressed child, not a giant reptile. And even after stealing all those scenes from other films, it's still barely 70 minutes long. It's so bad, it's not worth the effort it would take to smash the DVD into non-existence. So, I'm giving not Godzilla 8 out of 100. It's only up from here, I promise.
To become the most fearful menace that ever threatened mankind. Feeding, growing ever more deadly on smog. Only one force dared stand up to its overpowering evil.
1971, Mont Fuji. He should be known for that place, not Tokyo. Anyway, the 70s opened with Godzilla's franchise going back to the monster that is an allegory shtick, so they created Hedorah, a monster that grew from a microscopic form by feeding on the Earth's pollution and keeps growing from form to form, achieving a final form and going after Godzilla in a battle for the Earth near Mount Fuji, as our premonition having human characters try to figure out how to defeat Hedorah before it takes over the entire world by drying out its body. What? Here is my moment review for Godzilla vs. Hedorah. This shouldn't be as bad an entry as it is. It's practically unwatchable. Not as much as the last one. I promised it would go up from there. Didn't say how much by. Yeah, it's just moments like when Godzilla fires his atomic breath at the ground in order to fly into the air after Hedorah and catch him. We know from smart science that if Godzilla fired his atomic breath at the ground, he would open up a hole into the hollow earth. So get out of here with your bitch-ass science, Toho. Besides that, it's just a tragic film that isn't worth watching. Which is weird, because it should have been. As much as it is preachy climate stuff, that should have been better than a lot of these other plots. But it's not. It's really, really bad. It couldn't make up its mind between the actual serious allegory and the real crazy campiness of the franchise. So I'm giving Godzilla vs. a literal pile of shit 17 out of 100. Yeah, it's not much better. (1972) World Children's Land. Aliens from M Space Hunter Nebula have arrived on Earth, taking human form to hide the fact that they are pretty much cockroaches. And they intend to colonize our planet by bringing in King Gadora and Gigan from space, but also they build a peace-themed theme park and put a Godzilla tower that's capable of firing a beam to attack Godzilla in the middle of it. Godzilla and his apparently lieutenant now Anguirus come to the theme park and have a showdown with King Ghidorah and Gigan, who is he has a buzzsaw penis. It's not important. Here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla vs. Gigan. This is actually a pretty solid one. It's at this point that I think I start sounding insane. Trash monster bad, buzzsaw penis good. It's just, there's a lot of monster activity in this one again. And it's a tag team match. It's a tag team match. It's a pretty good one, because it's treating it as Godzilla vs. Gigan as the main rivalry, but you've also got King Ghidorah and Anguirus in there, who are fun monsters to have in there. And it's weird, because most of the other times in films you see Gigan, he's nothing compared to King Ghidorah, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. And it's pretty brutal as well. The fights, they're good this time around. So you have to forgive it for the Space Hunter Nebula aliens and World Children's Land. You don't have to forgive it, but you have to admit that it's better than a lot of these other ones. There are a lot of questions you're left with, but I mean, you just have to not. You just have to not. At this point in the franchise, you just have to accept the good fights when they come. So I'm giving Tag Team Turmoil 51 out of 100. (1973) Seatopia. there's this giant earthquake that sends Rodan and Anguirus plummeting into a fissure in the earth. But Rodan can fly? It doesn't matter. And these people from a place called Seatopia, not Atlantis, Seatopia, reveal themselves to the world and vow to take it over due to nuclear tests disturbing them. So they unleash their giant beetle-looking god on the earth. They also gain control of a human-made robot named Jet Jaguar, but when the humans regain control of the robot and send it to get Godzilla, the Seatopians call for help from their friends, the aliens from Space Hunter Nebula. Those are their friends, the friends of these guys who have lived under the ocean for thousands of years. Okay. They ask them to send Gigan to help them in their plight, and they do. And, of course, Godzilla and Jet Jaguar come together to defeat this Megalon and Gigan. So here's my one review for Godzilla vs. Megalon. Oh boy, I mean, the Seatopian, that broke me. Space Hunter Nebula cockroach aliens, okay, that's one thing. But them being friends with the Seatopians who have lived under the oceans for thousands of years. Okay, you know what, you have to somewhat accept it. The tag team match, again, similar with the humans more involved this time because they're controlling Jet Jaguar, so that's good in a way, but it is worse than Godzilla vs. Gigan. It's too stupid to live now. This film should be shot. It should be put down. But it's still got a good fight. A solid fight. Gigan's back, Buzzsaw penis, Megalon's there, his beetle thing. It's fine! I'm giving Tag Team Turmoil Part 2 48 out of 100. Oh... 1974, the third planet of the black hole. What even? It doesn't matter. These ape-like aliens created a super weapon made of what we call space titanium, and it masquerades as Godzilla before being revealed as Mechagodzilla. Also, there's this thing that our human characters discover involving an ancient prophecy and King Caesar, who's just a big weird rabbit, but our humans focus on the ape aliens and also on awakening King Caesar, while Godzilla takes a wild beating from Mecha Boy and goes to recharge with electricity. Why? Everyone's just recharged with electricity when it's convenient. Here is my moment review for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Good fights. Caesar and Godzilla have to team up at the end, and Godzilla just rips Mechagodzilla's head off. It's pretty good stuff. As is the first fight where Godzilla gets his ass handed to him. The whole aliens again thing is a bit painful, but in general, this is another more successful one because of the fights. Also, I guess after that many garbagey monsters in a row, I was pretty hyped for the idea of Mechagodzilla, and it was a pretty solid villain. So I'm giving Robo Reptile 50 out of 100. 1975, the Okinawan Sea. Oh, thank God. That's relatively normal. There's this evil scientist that wants to destroy the planet, so he made Titanosaurus, as well as building Mechagodzilla 2, after which he put a control chip for Mechagodzilla in his daughter's head, turning her into a cyborg before she falls in love with a marine biologist who is trying to stop them. Oh, Godzilla can easily beat Titanosaurus, he's just a little bitch, but Mechagodzilla 2 is harder, so they have to get the help from the cyborg lady and do a love story. Here's my one review for Terror of Mechagodzilla. Yeah, this one was fine too. It worked at this point at the very end of the Showa era as, like, they did Godzilla vs. Gigan, which was good, and then Godzilla vs. Megalon, which was quite a sequel to it, but it was slightly worse, but still good. Then they did Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which was pretty good, and then Terror of Mechagodzilla, which was a sequel, and it was slightly worse, but it was still pretty good. I guess it was just a relief after all the aliens and Seatopians to have a simple evil scientist cyborg love story thing going on. Though Mechagodzilla 2 is my least favorite of all the Mechagodzilla incarnations. Except for Mechagodzilla City, of course, but we'll get to that. Anyway, I'm giving Robo Reptile Redux 47 out of 100. 1984, Daikoku Island. Yeah, 9 years after the long overdue end of the Showa era, the Heisei era kicked off by ignoring all sequels after the 1954 Godzilla film. A new Godzilla erupts from a volcano and goes on a rampage around Tokyo. That's it. Here is my own review for the return of Godzilla. I mean, the humans do try to combat him with Super X, which is just it's a big plane. But for the most part, they were really just starting from scratch for a new era. They just wanted to do a kind of Godzilla Raids Again immediate sequel to the 1954 film, but many years later this time. And it was fair enough. The Heisei era is defined by definitely having a much better production quality and generally less insane stories than the Showa era. I'll warn you now, I do prefer it. I think it's my favourite of the 4 Toho eras of Godzilla films, the Heisei era. This one, it kind of, despite not having anything else to it, Godzilla was just this villainous creature attacking them. They had the planes and stuff. The human characters were pretty good. The production quality and writing were pretty good. Overall, it was just fine. It was just fine. It felt slightly throwaway, but it was fine. So I'm giving Just Godzilla 52 out of 100. 1989, the Soradia Institute of Technology and Science. A crazy boy mixed roses with the DNA of his dead daughter, and then with Godzilla cells, creating Biollante. It's just a big plant monster. Just a big plant monster. Godzilla is still the bad guy, though, mostly, and emerges from the volcano. Oh, he was trapped in a volcano at the end of the last one. Consistency. To challenge the plant thing. And there's these terrorists, and Biollante's big plan is to bacterially infect Godzilla. Here is my one review for Godzilla vs. Biollante. Again, there's nothing all that special about this one. Biollante is not a great creature or hero, I guess, because Godzilla is still the villain. It's kind of shitty, but the Heisei era, just that again, kind of shitty and a bit dull, is so much better in this era. Production quality good, writing solid enough. The characters, human characters, they're fine. The battles, they're not great, but it just goes to show that in terms of just how they were made and just how they were thought up of, the Heisei era was just so much better. More bearable, I think of it as, at times. This one, it's fine. I'm giving Garden Care is important 53 out of 100. He fought something proper, so it's better, pretty much, than the last one. That's it.
Send our monster after it. Let him kill Godzilla.
1991. 1944. Wait. See, while the Heisei era did get rid of most of the ridiculous alien storylines, they also introduced a race of humans from the future called Futurians, which seems rude. How'd you like it if they called you Pastians? And if they take you to their time, are they Presentians? Presenters? This couldn't matter less. Anyway, they find out that Godzilla was just a dinosaur living on an island in the 40s that then mutated, so they want to go to the past to eradicate him before he destroys Japan like he has in their time. But they accidentally mutate 3 small creatures from the island into King Gadora, and then reveal that that was their evil plan all along, and they want to use King Gadora to stop Japan becoming the superpower it actually is in the future. Godzilla manages to defeat him, only for them to create Mecha King Gadora. Here is my moment review for Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. It's an insane, truly unbelievably stupid story. Really awful. Just so bad. However, that being said, it does kind of work again. The Heisei era it was better, guys. It was better. You don't understand until you watch every film from the Showa era how nice it was just to have some level of human characters you cared about or liked or that were funny or just dumb. And I think after that weak-ass Biollante shit, it was just nice to see King Ghidorah, and then it's pretty cool, Mecha King Ghidorah. It's weird what this franchise manages to make you think is cool, but yeah, no, it's not. It's too insane to match the last couple of films, but I'm still going to give Mo Heads, Mo Problems 51 out of 100. 1992, Yokohama Cosmic World. What now? There's this story about an ancient civilization that accidentally created a horrible monster called Batra, and Mothra defeated it in a great battle. Now, the battle is set to repeat itself, only when, after a lot of faffing about, they finally get to the battle, Godzilla interrupts, so the Moths join forces to fight him. Godzilla brutally murders Batra, and then Mothra manages to seal Godzilla and the corpse of Batra underwater somehow, before going off to destroy a giant meteor headed for Earth that Batra had been waiting many years to destroy. There's really not a lot to this one, huh? So, but here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla vs. Mothra. What a ridiculous title! The whole film is Batman vs. Superman, but Godzilla is Doomsday. Or Godzilla vs. Kong, but Godzilla is Mechagodzilla. No, let's stick with the last one. That's too convoluted. It is more a Mothra film than anything else. He's the good guy, Godzilla's still the bad guy. So bad that Batra, who's meant to be evil, joins forces with Mothra, which is not what you're expecting. And it's insane, the prophecy shit and all that. It's weird. Having said that, once again, it's good, and it was probably better just with the two of them fighting Godzilla and managing to take him down eventually at the cost of Batra. It was better than any of the previous 3. Yeah. So I'm giving Batmoth vs. Supermoth 54 out of 100. (1993), the United Nations Godzilla Countermeasures Center. A new oh my god, I can't do this anymore. A new egg hatches and it's a baby Godzilla. Fuck. Humans working with the UN, a special division known as G-Force, have recovered the body of Mecha King Gadora and use it to create a new Mechagodzilla, as well as a gunship named Garuda. Godzilla beats the shit out of Rodan, and then the humans find a second brain in the baby Godzilla in his butt, and they assume Godzilla has this feature and they can destroy him by using a special device to destroy his butt brain. So they send a psychic that can contact Godzilla and the baby out to help Mechagodzilla, which joins forces with Garuda to become Super Mechagodzilla. Is this the real life, or is this just fantasy? They attack the butt brain and try to kill Big G Man. Here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. But this is the 3rd Mechagodzilla. It's the 3rd one. The film calls him Mechagodzilla 2, but that's wrong. Nobody ever addresses the fact that there were actually 4 Mechagodzillas over the 3 eras. And then Mechagodzilla City. Well, no, I don't want to talk about Mechagodzilla City. Anyway, this one is the worst of the Heisei era for me. Had so much going on. The baby Godzilla, the butt brain, the sidekicks, oh god, that was too much stuff. And it should, having Mechagodzilla in there, and Rodan was in there, and the humans are trying to take him out, and they're operating Mechagodzilla this time, which is helpful for the human story. It should have worked better than it did for me. I didn't like it. It still has the production quality, the writing and all, so it's still on a higher level in general than a lot of the Showa era ones, but it is the worst of the Heisei era for me. There's just something wrong about this one. I didn't enjoy it. They do also compare Rodan to the European cuckoo a lot, which is... it's just weird. Anyway, I'm giving Robo Reptile Redux Remix 48 out of 100. 1994. Space. I can't do this anymore. Godzilla cells brought out of our atmosphere by Biollante in 1990 and Mothra in 1993 combine with a black hole to create Space Godzilla. What's that? If there was a black hole within light years of Earth, we'd all be dead? Shut up! So Space Godzilla is created through science! And then he comes to Earth and begins transforming the Earth's core into an energy source it can absorb, destroying the planet through science! Yeah! Also, the humans made another mecha. It's called Mogera, and it is dumb, but it's also there. Here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. This is ridiculous. Great battles. Space Godzilla is an awesome villain. Absorbing all the energy of the world, Godzilla has to come and stop him, can't take him alone. Mogera and the humans are actually able to help. That helps their story. It works. Mogera separates into two pieces through some reverse Megazord shenanigans at one point. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it does have that Pacific Rim aspect where the people don't need their own story separate to the monsters because they are actively fighting the monsters through Mogera. So that helps, and for me this was the best of the Heisei era to this point. Somehow. It does have more of the Psychic and Baby Godzilla, but I mean less. It's less of a thing. So I'm giving Space Serpent 56 out of 100. '95, Birth Island. After the death of Space Godzilla, see, that's the other thing about the Heisei era. That's why it's my favourite of the 4 Toho eras. It has just continuity constantly through all of its films, pretty much. So that works well. Anyway, some scientists go back to Birth Island to check on the 2 Godzilla creatures, but the island has been destroyed. Shortly afterwards, Godzilla returns to Hong Kong looking red and angry. Turns out our boy has a nuclear reactor for a heart, and due to eating some tasty uranium or something, it's swollen up 3 times like the Grinch. But that's a bad thing here, and the whole film is basically having a meltdown. Not like a midlife crisis, like he's about to blow chunks and take the world with him. The army sends out an airship called Super X-3, but it's stylized in Roman numerals, the 3, so it makes it read like Super 13. They send it out to try and use coolant-based weapons to slow or stop Godzilla's meltdown. Meanwhile, our psychic friend finds Godzilla Jr., but the same thing driving Papa to destruction made Jr. get very big. He's basically just Godzilla now. Also, perhaps most importantly, the oxygen destroyer weapon used to kill the original 1954 Godzilla creature is still active deep in the ocean, and it forms together into small creatures that grow and form one big creature called Destroya, a creature created from the weapon that was used to destroy the original Godzilla. That is literally the best origin story for any of Godzilla's enemies, ever. The humans, cruel beings as we are, attract Godzilla Jr. to Tokyo Bay where Destroya is wreaking havoc, hoping that the father Godzilla will follow. That is savage. Here is my own review for Godzilla vs. Destroya. The end of an era, the best of an era. Heisei is the best of the 3 eras for me, and it rounds off with this, which was so good. The origin of Destroya makes this feel more like an actual sequel to the 1954 Godzilla film than anything else. It actually shows the consequences of having used the oxygen destroyer. The thing that Serizawa feared, that he would create something even worse than Godzilla, like Destroya. It's such a good idea. The film itself, the Destroya as these small creatures wreaking havoc in the city first, and having baby Godzilla die, and then big Godzilla explode at the end. It's so good. The whole ending sequence, Destroya revving up to this final perfect form Godzilla and mourning over the death of baby Godzilla going after it, it's maybe the best Toho film outside of the original Godzilla. It's crazy good. So I'm giving The Death of Godzilla, The Birth of Godzilla, 74 out of 100. 1998, New York City. It was America's turn to name a film Godzilla. I was going to say use the Godzilla character, but they didn't. This didn't need to be called Godzilla. It's a creature that lays eggs and isn't even big enough to crush skyscrapers. What a pussy. Anyway, the Toho was between eras, so TriStar Pictures capitalized and created this. I was going to call it a film, but anyway, starring Matthew Broderick as an NRC scientist who is sent to check this nest of iguana eggs that were caught in a nuclear test, and it's oh god, here is my own review for Godzilla 1998. Seriously though, it's fine for an entry in this franchise. It's at least on par with a lot of the Showa era ones, but the batshit crazy ones. This isn't a batshit crazy story particularly, but it's not Godzilla. It lays a bunch of eggs and it's not Godzilla. It doesn't even have atomic breath. It's just a fucking dinosaur. It's just this big reptile thing. It sucks. It is, as a film, it's fine, it's okay, it's got good production quality and stuff, but it's not good. I don't like it. I would rather watch trashier Toho films than I would watch this again, I think. It is eye-roll level stuff, but a lot of what we experienced in the Showa era was walk out of the room and burn the room stuff, so I'm giving not Godzilla. Again, it's just not. 46 out of 100.
Get ready.
I've spotted him!
For the 23rd big screen appearance of the world's biggest star. Godzilla!
1999, the Japan Trench. Is that a thing? There's a UFO that's 60 million years old down there, and when reactivated, it goes after your friendly neighborhood Godzilla, who's been a constant threat to Japan since 1954. Yeah, let me just say this now. Every film in the Millennium Era pretty much ignores all of the other films in the Millennium Era, and every other film from before that, except for 1954. Some of them even partially ignore that. So the UFO steals Godzilla DNA and creates Orga, a giant monster that just continues absorbing Godzilla's DNA in order to become a perfect clone of him. Yeah. Anyway, here's my one review for Godzilla 2000 Millennium. Oh, bad. Real bad. Just kind of dull. Again, they were starting an era and they just kind of had Godzilla rampaging around a bit and stuff, but it wasn't It's really bad. It's worse than any of the Heisei era films already, off the bat, just like that, Millennium Era, Jesus. Orga suck. UFO attacking Godzilla suck. Human characters obviously suck. The whole thing was just a letdown. I thought the production quality was going to get even better in this era, and maybe really ramp up to high levels as a norm, on par. It did not. So I'm giving, this was released in 1999, it's not Millennium yet, 39 out of 100.
これは私の仕事よ。
2000, the Dimension Tide. We're now pretending the original Godzilla is still alive and that they never used the Oxygen Destroyer in 1954. We also get a quick history lesson on G-graspers that try to stop Godzilla, and also on plasma energy. Yeah. Anyway, humanity has created this Dimension Tide, a device that can create miniature black holes that somehow won't destroy the Earth, because science. They fire one and a prehistoric dragonfly comes through, drops a big egg, and leaves. Science. The egg hatches into many pieces, make lots of dragonflies. They have a queen, it gets injected with Godzilla DNA, and it becomes monstrous dragonfly Mechagodzilla. So here's my one review for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Yeah, this is the one where Godzilla is thrown into a black hole and survives it. It was such a regression, the start of the Millennium Era, back to mad Showa era style stuff. And it was back to creating these new shitty monsters. I hate Orga and I hate Mechagodzilla. They're not very good villains. And yet, this one just, I don't know, it worked somehow. It worked somehow. It shouldn't have. It really shouldn't have. It's so dumb. It was kind of good. Maybe it's because Mechagodzilla as a villain, I don't like him, but... well, her. But she was fast, and that gave an interesting new kind of dynamic to the monster fights. And there was a lot of the monster fights going on in it. I guess it's okay. I'm giving Dragon-Sized Dragonfly 55 out of 100. 2001, Japan's Self-Defense Forces headquarters. So after the first Godzilla attack in 1954, the humans found out about these three guardian monsters meant to protect Earth against a threat such as Godzilla. Why did they not protect the Earth from them in 1954? Shut up! Was there a time I wasn't making this video? So, anyway, these three monsters are King Gadora, Mothra, and whoops, who's the other one? I forgot, because they put every monster that's in the movie in the title except for per fucking Baragon. Anyway, the three of them team up to defeat Godzilla, and possibly, at his most brutal level ever, full villain mode, he smashes the fuck out of all three of them with ease. Here's my 1 minute review for Godzilla, Mothra, and King Gadora, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Talk about telling you what you're getting in the title, huh? It's literally it. They left Baragon out of the title. I don't know why. It was already so long. They may as well have just shoved him in there, but it's fine. So, yeah, this one rocks. It is so good. It's really good. It's not on Godzilla vs. Destroyer level, but it's so good. As a standalone film, this does a better job, maybe, than any other film of truly presenting Godzilla as this evil, unstoppable force. That's what it is. Their goal is just take him down. There's no anything else going on. It's just take him down. Three guardian monsters, they can't do it. They're spirits. There's this whole weird thing with that. But he is this brutal, unstoppable force who just murders them all off. It's so good. It really, as a standalone, feels like it finishes well, and it has a lot of monster fighting to it. It's just really well done. I don't know why, it's just really well done. And so I'm giving... no, the actual title does a pretty good job of explaining this one. 68 out of 100. (2002), Japan Self-Defense Forces headquarters. Yeah, it's not linked at all to the last film, but the JSDF plays a major part in a lot of these. Decades after the original 1954 Godzilla attack, a new member of the species surfaces. No way. The JSDF decided to use the original Godzilla skeleton to create a mecha that is similar to Godzilla. I wonder what they'll call that. Kiryu. Yeah. Anyway, he's sent out to fight Godzilla, but the bones of the original Godzilla that are inside of him activate their memories and start going on their own rampage inside of Kiryu. Bones have memories. bones! Anyway, here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Oh, that's original. Bad. Oh man, this was bad. Worst thing about this was that I really did expect it to be good, but just had a good one, and then I liked the idea that they formed this mecha around the bones of the original Godzilla. It was like OG Godzilla against this new one. It felt like it should be this really cool thing, but then bones have memories. Bones have memories. There's still some... No, I mean, it's all pretty batshit crazy and awful this time around. It's possible that, you know, there are just different weeks here. I had a higher or lower threshold for Pieman and how much bullshit they could include in a film before I just can it as a garbage one, but... I mean, this one, I really, again, like Gadora, I thought this was going to be a pretty solid one, and it was super garbage. I'm giving Robo Reptile Redux Remix Revibe 34 out of 100. I've lost the will to live. It's gone. ...2003, Tokyo. 1 year after Kiryu's previous battle with Godzilla. Oh, thank God. Continuity. These pesky Mothra fairies come and say that Godzilla keeps attacking Japan because they used the bones of the original Godzilla in creating Kiryu, and that if they return the bones to the ocean, then Mothra will protect Japan for them. Because Mothra can always totally beat Godzilla. Anyway, the humans refuse and Mothra comes to protect Japan anyway, helping Kiryu continue to fight against Godzilla. Not versus Godzilla, against Godzilla. That really irritated me for some reason. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla? It's stupid. Anyway, here is my 1 minute review for Godzilla Tokyo SOS. I mean, this one was just a continuation. It was just an actual sequel to the last one. It was better. It was a lot better. Still has Kiryu with the bones or memories, but, you know, it was better. It has 3 Mothra creatures. Like Mothra versus Godzilla, not Godzilla versus Mothra. Those are separate films. Why are you still watching this video? It makes me sad that I'm happy now to see Mothra fairies, but, you know, it's fine. What does this franchise condition me into? I don't know. But yeah, it was good. It was pretty good. Pretty solid stuff. They still don't kill off Godzilla. It's the 2001 one where they killed him off. That was the real good shit for me from this one. But it was fine. It was fine. So I'm giving Godzilla, Mothra, and Mothra, and Mothra, and Mechagodzilla 4, 53 out of 100.
This is Operation Final War.
2004, everywhere. Celebrating 50 years of Godzilla. We're not close to the end of the video, just so you're aware. But Toho just decided to fucking throw 10 films worth of stuff into one massive apocalyptic endgame to the Godzilla universe. Godzilla basically got trapped in ice years ago or something, and then many monsters have since emerged, unleashed around the world. Mutants have also appeared, superhumans worthy of fighting in the Earth Defense Force, which proves its worth by destroying Manda early on. Remember Manda? Me neither. So aliens appear, called Zillions, sign a peace accord with Earth, break it, send monsters after gaining control of all of them around the world. We're talking about some big hitters here. We've got Gigan, Rodan, Mothra, King Caesar, Anguirus, Kumunga, Kamacuras, Hedorah, Ebera, and don't pretend you even remember all of these. Also, Manila is back, not the baby Godzilla we liked, the shitty one from the show era. Yeah, he's just around. Oh, fuck me. Godzilla basically wrecks all these monsters, including Zilla, the American 1998 Godzilla. He kills him in seconds. Oh, we're real angry at Roland Emmerich. And then Big G-Man faces off against the aliens' final battle monster. Yes, it's Gadora. Duh. Here is my one review for Godzilla Final Wars. This thing was 8 kinds of crazy. I mean, firstly, it was as much of an X-Men film as it was a Godzilla one. It focused a lot on these mutants and aliens that were mutants, and it was also the most ludicrously Hong Kong action cinema rip on The Matrix, which was a rip on Hong Kong action cinema, kind of thing that you've ever seen. The Godzilla parts, it felt like a video game. It was just going around the world, kill this one, final boss Gadora, what? It's like a simplistic Godzilla video game. I think they actually made a Godzilla Unleashed video game that is basically this. There's just a lot of the stuff we love and a lot of the stuff we hate. It's not the best Godzilla film ever. It is the most Godzilla a film has ever been, even though it is mostly X-Men Matrix. How does that work? I don't know. But I'm giving Godzilla and the Infinity Gauntlet 60 out of 100. 2014, the Philippines. A husband and wife team are sent into a strange cave and find some giant spores. After studying them for a while, the wife is killed, the husband never really recovers, but deals in conspiracy theories for years surrounding these potential Titan creatures, leaving his son with issues. Even bigger issues than the fact that in a year he's going to be siblings with his current wife. Uh-oh. So these two big Muto things hatch, start dealing damage, but then G-Man arrives and he looks angrier than ever before. Real rage machine. And he just goes after these two big bugs hanging around on his turf, and we get to see some of it. Like 14 minutes or something. Not a lot of screen time. Here's my one review for Godzilla 2014. Yeah, it is really, really good. You compare this to any era of Toho films and the visuals are unbelievably astounding. Like there are just so many moments where you could just screenshot it and it would be unbelievably cool looking. It is astounding. Not even just shots of Godzilla. The film is beautiful, okay? It really is. There isn't a lot of Godzilla. The human characters are good. Bryan Cranston, really good. They killed him off. But Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character is good enough. Elizabeth Olsen, great. Always love her. I'm so in love with her. What? And yeah, no. Serizawa, Ken Watanabe, everything's good here. That he goes, let them fight, and then they fight. Pretty good final battle. It felt like the start of an era in Toho. Any of those films, like Return of Godzilla, or it felt like they were holding back in a way. But it was still pretty great. So I'm giving just plain old Godzilla again 76 out of 100. It's not quite above the 1954 OG for me, but close to being the best we'd ever seen at this point. (2016) Tokyo. Oh, you thought we'd just get to skip straight to King of the Monsters? You poor fools. We're not even close. Toho wanted to counter America's new successful big-budget Godzilla, so they made this fucking thing. Opening the Reiwa period, which we're still technically in, it had this thing. And it called it Godzilla. And it showed it for a few minutes before focusing for 2 hours on the top-heavy bureaucracy of Japan and how they might actually struggle in a real Godzilla attack. It's Dr. Strangelove, but nearly unwatchable. Here is my moment review for Shin Godzilla. Nope. I won't do it. I won't talk about this. I won't flash back to how painful it was to exist through this. It was so bad. I don't understand. Critics seem to like this. I don't know how. Sure, it is kind of Dr. Strangelove, which is kind of allegorical in its own way. But what is Godzilla just an allegory for the recent earthquakes in Japan there have been, like 2011, and how badly the government handled that, or what is it? I don't care. It's shit. It's horrible to watch. I hated watching this. It was so bad. It was so bad. It's not a Godzilla film. Dr. Strangelove is not a Godzilla film. I'm giving Godzilla Without Bones, in more way than one, 18 out of 100. I don't care what critics said. This was awful. It was awful. This was a pile of mush. And they called it Godzilla. It has a googly eye. What the fuck? 2017, the spaceship Aratrum. Yeah, okay. Right, Jesus, here it comes. Let me just get this out of the way and explain this now. After giving up on catching Legendary's big budget style, Toho crawled away to make a Netflix deal to make 3 anime Godzilla movies, a trilogy. And it is horrific. It bastardizes every piece of Godzilla lore it even remotely touches. So this is going to be an awful 5 minutes. Particularly given the fact that I've been sitting here for about an hour already. So, humans abandoned Earth 20 years or so ago because Godzilla and a bunch of monsters took it over. But 20,000 years have passed. Because science. And when they get there, they find Godzilla is still alive, so they hatch a plan to destroy it. With electromagnetic blah blah blah. Here is my one review for Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. So yeah. It's really, really anime, but bad. Really, really anime, but bad. It's got a bunch of alien races that hang with the humans. One of them is really mechanically focused, and one of them are like these awful priest fuckers. And, yeah, no, it suck. It's a real chore. It's a real chore. They electromagnetic whatever him, and then they kill him. And then there's this other Godzilla. Turns out that one was a baby. And there's this 300-meter tall Godzilla, who's the actual original Godzilla that they saw and left Earth because of. I'm giving Planet of the Apes, that's what it is, 31 out of 100.
2万年後の地球で奪還戦を仕掛けた人類。しかし希望は一瞬にして灰に帰した。俺は。
2018 Mechagodzilla City. Oh no, here it comes. So second time around in the anime trilogy of hell, the Mothra fairy people are here now. They're Mothra fairies, but they look like people now because they've evolved over 20,000 years. I don't know. They've been living on Earth all this time and hiding from Godzilla and other creatures. Then they try to fight Godzilla with Mechagodzilla City because Mechagodzilla is made out of nanotechnology, and when left on Earth, it just kind of spread and turned into a city. So the humans have to decide whether they want to lose themselves within this giant machine like some of their alien friends want to do, or retain their humanity and find another way to beat Godzilla. That's the whole film, that's it. Here's my 1-minute review for Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. They're doing a new Netflix anime Godzilla series now, they're planning it out. Why couldn't this trilogy just be a series? Then I wouldn't have had to touch it to do this ranking of films. This one's better, I think, personally. I don't know. It's better. The conflict about what the humans do, the losses they take, the Mothra fairy people, they're more bearable as characters, I guess. And yeah, I don't know, there was messages in there. It was bastardized. Mechagodzilla City, go fuck yourself. But it was marginally better than the last one, if only because there was some sort of, they actually used the city to kind of fight Godzilla at times, so there was some sort of actual battle going on there, unlike the last one when there really wasn't. I'm giving Godzilla literally spent 60 years destroying cities. This would have been cruel irony if the city had actually beat him. But it didn't, so never mind. 36 out of 100.
君を待ちわびていたんだよ、春を。何が起こってるんだ。すべてお前の仕業なのか。すべてはこの収穫の日のため。
Still 2018, still on future Earth. There were the machine-obsessed aliens from... They mostly die in the second one, but there's also these other aliens, and they're basically like Lord of the Rings elves or something. They speak slow and are regal, think they're better than everyone else, they're obsessed with their own ideals, all the way up their own holes, and a monster called Gadora has destroyed their planet a long time ago. It's here now. But not really. It's just a bunch of heads. Not just 3, like a bunch of heads. They come through a portal and start attacking Godzilla. Destroy mostly humans. Our leading guy fucks a Mothra fairy after denying her sister. That's rough. This is, so awful. But here's my 1-minute review for Godzilla the Planet Eater. I hated the fuck out of this. Somehow everything in the story of the first 2 films led to this. A final climactic battle where it's just literally a bunch of Gadora heads wrapping themselves around Godzilla and holding him there for about half an hour while the humans do their thing. And yeah, it's all like these evil elf guys induct a bunch of the humans into their religion, kill them off to summon Gadora. It's a whole... It's bad. Like, it's unwatchable at this point. It was... Oh my god, I can't even... It was a tragedy on fucking wheels. So I'm giving Snakehole 19 out of 100. This is not a Godzilla Ghidorah fight.
This is Godzilla's world. We just live in it.
Damn right.
2019. Now that's a Godzilla Ghidorah fight. After his 2014 adventures, Monarch has been exploring Godzilla, and a young girl and her mother watch Mothra hatch after perfecting technology that can help control and speak to the Titans, which have been emerging in greater numbers. However, a Charles Dancy-looking fellow named Alan Jonah kidnaps Madison and her mom, but not really, and forces them to come to Antarctica, where they free Monster Zero himself, its big snaky champ Gadora. He and Godzilla fight. It's beautiful. It turns out Madison's mom is working with the terrorists, and she's freaking Looney Tunes. Rodan jumps out of a volcano. They use the oxygen destroyer and takes out Godzilla, but not Gadora, who proclaims himself king of the monsters and starts wrecking the place. Serizawa sacrifices himself to bring Godzilla back. He supercharges and goes burning Godzilla. It's a whole thing. Here is my 1-minute review for Godzilla King of the Monsters, the good version. It's like porn for Godzilla fans, this one. I don't know how critics didn't like this. No, it didn't do as well. This had everything. It was so good, and burning Godzilla at the end, that is. This is the best Godzilla film. This has so many callbacks to the original 1954 film and some of the best stuff about previous Godzilla films. It has the best Godzilla Gadora battle, and let's face it, Gadora's the one you want to see fighting Godzilla. Come on. Come on. He, of all the Godzilla rogue gallery, he's the one, okay? He is the big boss man. Everything about it just works, for me. For me, it just works. I think Gadora is terrifying at times. So many of those shots. Whoa! This is the closest to a horror film Godzilla maybe ever got. This has human story. It has monster story. It has it all. And it goes ahead and manages to set up more films by teasing Kong, Mecha King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Destroyer, and more Mothra. What the fuck? I'm giving specifically Burning Godzilla 85 out of 100.
Kong bows to no one.
2021 Skull Island. We did it, guys. We went from 1954 Godzilla to 2014 Godzilla. We went from 1956 King of the Monsters to 2019 King of the Monsters. And now we've gone from 1962 Kong vs. Godzilla to Godzilla vs. Kong. The most recent, possibly last addition to Legendary's current Monsterverse had Kong on Skull Island, living in kind of captivity? Don't know how they managed that, but with humans interested in bringing him away to an entrance into the Hollow Earth, letting him go back into the original home of the Titans while also guiding them down there so they can explore it. Meanwhile, Godzilla is very angry with some humans and is attacking facilities. Madison is back from the last one and is engaging in one of the stupidest human stories in the history of the franchise, while Team Kong is actually pretty sick, but Alexander Skarsgård's character is dumb, but I mean, whatever. Anyway, other people made Mechagodzilla and trained it against Skullcrawlers, and now they're ready to release it. Kong and Godzilla have a little go at it while he's travelling to the Hollow Earth, but it isn't until he gets down there and finds Stormbreaker that Thor can really come to teeth on. I mean, it isn't until he finds the ancient axe of his ancestors that Kong can come back to the normal Earth through the convenient hole Godzilla created and fight him in a titanic clash that stops when Mechagodzilla arrives. The question is literally, though, how Kong can tackle Godzilla's atomic breath, same as how could Batman tackle Superman's heat vision. It doesn't matter. Here's my own review for Godzilla vs. Kong. There's some insane stuff, probably the best fights in the franchise's history, a slightly disappointing ending, but overall, I think this film probably has saved the Monsterverse, and Legendary may get to continue yet. Here's the thing, it's not the best Godzilla film ever. I'll try to explain this in simple terms. I think the 1954 Godzilla film is the best film made in the Godzilla franchise. I think 2019's King of the Monsters is the best Godzilla film. I think this is a great film, but it's a great King Kong film. This isn't a Godzilla film. It's not a Godzilla film. It's just not. Doesn't matter that Godzilla wins the fight at the end, which I don't think he should have. I still feel like Kong winning would have been a more satisfying ending. He was the hero of the film. Godzilla was much more of a villainous character, but whatever. But it's not a Godzilla film. King of the Monsters is my favorite Godzilla film. Despite any issues I have with it, I still loved this film. It was still fantastic, and I'm giving Brawn of Justice 82 out of 100. And that's it. I'm deader than Zilla in Final Wars. If you want to see another video this length in the future, then you got to subscribe down there to blow the nuclear bomb that'll take to wake me up again. I'm going to bed. Thank you very much if you were dumb, loyal enough to watch this whole video, and good fucking night, folks.